I'm not going to just not put content out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, you barely put on content. I'm all stalking your stuff on YouTube, and you had one video and one short.
Is that Elvis on YouTube right now? I thought I uploaded more of them yesterday.
Oh, on YouTube? On your well, let's talk about your brand. And ladies and gentlemen, let me give an official introduction.
Are we starting? I
think I might as well. Let's start. We can cut in whenever. I can start right now, but I think I'll probably cut in a little earlier. Ladies and gentlemen,
love it.
The CEO of Always Developing Leader, JJ Shawver.
Hello.
Yeah, you just started this, right?
Yeah, this last April, I started doing it full time, and it's been fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah. What is it?
So it's personal and professional development, leadership development. It's coaching. It's group coaching. It's for people that want to reach their pinnacle. It's people that want to perform on a higher level. So it's so funny because we get into this like work pattern, right? This work-life balance. Everybody's trying to get this work-life balance. And it's so funny because they're so worried about getting this work-life balance that no one really knows what it is. And they're not getting a coach to just help them get to the next goal, right? To the next step. They're focusing different places. And so having someone, the highest performers, like you think about basketball players, you think about sports, every one of them has a coach because they want to be the best that they can be at what they're doing. It's the same in business. We don't see it really here in Twin Falls, Idaho, because it's so brand new here. But I'll tell you, if you get outside of Twin Falls or outside of Idaho, really, Boise's starting to see a little bit of it. But if you get into different states, I was just in Austin, Texas at a coaching convention. Over 2,500 people in attendance, coaches that had pretty much full clientele lists, it sounded like and seemed like. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of money that businesses are putting into personal and professional development because it's so important, the culture that businesses bring. And then people want to live a fulfilled life, right? I want to feel the best that I can, perform the best that I can, be the best that I can be when I die. You know, when I write my eulogy, when whoever writes my eulogy, I want that to read well. I want whoever's reading that to feel something and to be able to associate something good from that and from my life, right? So I want to leave a legacy. The only way that I can do that is to perform the best that I can perform. And I can't do that alone. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's been awesome.
So you're like acting as a coach for businesses, for people who want to grow their business?
Individuals, businesses. I mean, not necessarily grow their business, but maybe, you know, what's the next hurdle that you have?
So success. It's all about success. I mean, it's in the...
significance.
No. That's not in the name.
Yeah,
success. So I think of success coach. Is that kind of like the right term?
I like to think of it as a high performance coach.
High performance coach.
Yes.
Okay. So where's your genres?
Yes.
Where do they all touch?
Honest to God, what I focus on, number one is intentionality, right? Being intentional about the way you live your life. You have to be intentional, take intentional steps to achieve intentional goals that you set, right? And if you don't do these little tiny easy things, you're never going to, it's going to take you so long, right? Like that's where I come in. It's like, okay, let's streamline this process. Let's focus on the things that are going to advance you. And let's not worry about all these distractions and all this just commotion, right? That everybody worries about every day. I do it all the time. And if you're mindful about it, be mindful. Seriously, because if you're mindful about the stuff you worry about throughout the day that doesn't mean shit, doesn't mean anything, right, Jason?
Depends on what it is.
Right. I mean, but say...
Maybe put gas in the car because maybe you will run out in the morning.
That means something. That means something, right? But the things that's like, I catch myself all the time. It's like, man, this thing that happened like a week ago or two. It's like,
lingering on the past.
Yeah. I mean, living in the past, worried
dreading
about the future.
future.
Yeah. that shit's worthless.
Not being in the present.
It's crazy. And people have been teaching that for years. But people need, God, that's a good looking cup. Woo!
Yeah, I do like this cup and this hat as well. It's more tight forming.
I love it too. Man,
I'm going to try to resist turning this into a running hat because this hat is so clean it doesn't deserve to get sweaty.
I'll tell you what, if you need another one, I know a guy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yes. Perfect.
So you just let me know.
So intentional, you mean intentional as in like put thought into it?
100%. Be mindful.
Make it have a purpose to everything you do.
Mm-hmm. No one ever just fell on top of a mountain, right? If you're going to climb a mountain, you don't say, gosh, I wish I was up on top of a mountain, and then you're there. You have to sometimes train, get the right gear, do the right things in order to even be able to attempt this mountain, right? Then when you get to the base of the mountain, you have to do certain things and be very precise and do things with intention to get to the top of the mountain, to reach the pinnacle, of the mountain, if you will. So you have to do the same thing in your life, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. And I have essentially the 4 pillars, if you will, of intentionality. Gone into this stuff deep, man. Like, I love this stuff. That's why, I don't know, just this whole personal and professional development thing, Jason, has been such a godsend to me, because I consider myself and I think you're the same way. You always are learning. You're always educating yourself. You're always wanting to know new things and learn new things. And that's,
curiosity.
God, dude, it's good. It's good, right? And so,
but you have to keep it under control, for me anyways, because I can be too curious about so many things that I want to get good at, and I leave my mastery skill off to the side a little bit.
Yes. I think everybody does that. But I don't know. It's so important, I feel like, to do what you love doing, right? Like, there's so many people that are out there that they're making good money here in Idaho or whatever, you know what I mean? They're making good money at $50,000 a year, working for the man, doing shit they don't even like doing. Man, do something you love.
Trading their happiness for security.
Is it security at 50 grand?
Isn't that a Benjamin Franklin quote? Like, people who give up freedom for security deserve neither.
It's a great question.
I'm pretty sure, because I used to look at that all the time while I was in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And I would think about, we all they try to get you to re-enlist at the end. Re-enlist. And I remember my captain, he gathered all of us around. Wow. He was a lifer. He was a hardcore lifer. And he was just shit talking the economy. It was my last year. I had like maybe 6 months left to get out. He got everybody around. We're at the armory. We just got done cleaning guns. And he got us around for a little, meeting. I was like, what the world looks like out there. The economy's shit. It's going to crash. Things are going to go bad. And if you don't like re-enlist, you might end up fucked out there. You might be a homeless veteran and stuff. And I was just thinking the Benjamin Franklin quote, like, dude, you're sitting here trying to tell us that we should give up our freedom. Even if we don't want to be here, we should be scared. Don't even try, because this is secure and safe. Maybe that's your choice, bro. But I'm out of here. I'm going to make my dreams come true.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Life is too short. It's like, I see it so much anymore, because I was never this mindful until I started doing this stuff full time, right, Jason? And you're right on the dot. I don't have to live out your dream. I don't got to live out anybody's dream besides mine, right? Like, there's so many people that are unhappy, they're unfulfilled with what they're doing in their life. And all they need is a little bit of motivation and a little bit of help and a little bit of support to be able to find that why and their reason for living, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you tell me about, your why. Didn't you discover that like super young or something?
Oh, no. I used to want to be a music producer. Then while I was at my last year in the Marine Corps, I wanted to join the CIA. I was meeting up with clandestine agents of the CIA if they were doing recruitments, and I would go to the meetings and talk. And
I could see you doing that.
They were nothing like what you expect in the movies. They were like fat and like office people, and they're like, every hour you spend in the field is 10 hours in the office writing a report about it.
You're like, okay, bye-bye, see you later.
It's like, what? I don't get to be James Bond. How many motorcycles am I going to be riding?
They're like, well, in between your 500 pages that you have to write, maybe half of one.
And I read Mike Baker. He's in Idaho, and he's a CIA guy. And he wrote this book, The Art of Intelligence.
Okay.
And that book, he talks about his journeys as a CIA operative, and he was just like putting bugs into places, getting a hotel near, and just listening and writing everything. That was like what their job was. And I'm like, Hollywood definitely romanticized. There's probably cool ass like CIA guys out there though.
Yeah,
but that's what I was wanting to be. I was like, I want to do that. I was like learning Farsi and Persian and like really trying to get it. But
I bet. And you probably were doing awesome. That's what when I think of, I could see you doing like undercover.
oh yeah, espionage
in the Middle East. You know what I mean? Like growing
grow
a
my beard out.
Yes, seriously.
I got
put a
chameleon.
Seriously,
No one ever knows what I am. Do you know what I am? Do you know what my bloodline is?
No. What
I'm
is it?
I'm Mexican Korean.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty weird. So it's a weird mix. So then I can pass the Middle Eastern someplace if I grow my beard out, maybe.
You
Actually,
would be able to.
I think all the locals anywhere I go think I look like something else, not them. So I'm like
always a foreigner.
Yeah, I'm like an anti-chameleon. I always stand out.
This guy, I know he's not one of us. I'm not sure what he is.
Yeah, exactly. Some people will think I'm like Islander just because I'm like big.
Yes.
How tall are you?
Me, 6'2".
6'2". Dude, you used to play football.
Yeah.
For who?
For Kimberly Bulldogs. Okay. And then the Vandals, University of Idaho Vandals.
How sweet of you. You start off with your high school. You're like, got to give them some love.
Here.
Kimberly
Bulldogs, man.
And then you went and became a Vandal?
I did.
Nice, dude. How was that?
It was amazing.
What's the difference between high school and college?
1,000 miles an hour. It's crazy. Coming from Kimberly, I think we were 3A. I don't know. They changed like right after I graduated or something. But
no, yeah, because they were 3A with Buell.
Yes.
We were all in the same.
Yeah,
same little
were all in that
competitor.
Little,
I had to pin a little Kimberly boy.
And yeah. You bet you did. You probably pinned the hell out of it. You were probably a good wrestler.
Coach.
I wasn't that good.
I wasn't that good of a wrestler.
Weren't you?
I went to state, but I didn't play. So, but my friends, it's a comparison game because I have friends that are freaks at wrestling that went on to D1 colleges, and they're just like. So I see the standard of what a good wrestler is.
You're like, no, I wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I was it something that. Did you really practice at it?
I hated it.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't want to go, but my friend, the D1 wrestler, Steven, he would come and get me in the mornings at 5 a.m., be pounding on my door. I used to live in a shack in the backyard of my mom's boyfriend's house. Oh, we had like a shack back there, and I was just doing my own thing. Yes. I literally would park my motorcycle in there and probably breathe in all the fumes. But
leave it running during the night.
Just get out. I'll try to take top, trying to act like I'm like some cool guy. Whatever could get the girls looking. Back when that's all that mattered. But he would wake me up at 5 a.m, pounding. Let's go. We're going to wrestling. And he just dragged me out, throw me in the truck, and he kept me accountable. And I definitely, that's probably what led me to becoming a Marine.
Really?
Was because I learned that discipline and sticking to hard things. And I just was like, you know what? I can do this.
Yes.
So then I went on to the Marine Corps.
And did you do it?
And did it.
Fucking did it really well. And I'll tell you what, it's true about life, Jason. There's so many people that are just, I don't know. I just live your life fully, right? Like, don't hold back, because you can do a lot more than you think you can do. Everybody can do a lot more than they think they can do, right? And sometimes you do need just a little bit of accountability, and sometimes it's that discipline and the habits. And so going into, I mentioned the 4 eyes of intentionality, my 4 pillars.
I thought you were making a glasses joke. 4 eyes.
The 4 eyes. No.
Oh yeah, your intentionality, your 4 pillars.
Yeah. So that, we are talking about intentionality. That's a huge spectrum, right? That's pretty much anything you're talking about being more mindful about. But I love the word intentionality. But intentional mindset, intentional habits, right? You have to have intentional energy. Nobody likes the person that comes into the room. Everybody's been in a room and knows somebody that when they walk through the door, it's like, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody likes that person. You want to bring something to the table when you come. You want to be prepared. You want to be disciplined. You want to be habitual. You want to be on the spot, but you have to have energy to do that. So you have to have good sleep hygiene. There's a lot that plays into this living the pinnacle life that you can live. It's easy, it's simple, but it's sure as hell not easy. but it's a lot easier if you have somebody that's helping you or walking you through the process.
Okay, so I want to ask this. So a coach versus a mentor.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Big difference. I am just, I'm like a basketball coach, right? I'm drawing up the plays. I'm helping them get from the ball out of bounds to in the basket. I'm helping them get from, going jump ball to I am winning this game, right? That's what I'm trying to get them to. So I'm not consulting them and saying, well, what do you think? It's like, I know what you need to do. Everybody's going to be different on what they do, but how you do it, that is going to get you there. Everybody's, how is different, or everybody's, I guess, luggage is different, if you will, but the way that they get there is the same. They're intentional. They have intentional discipline. They have intentional habits. They have intentional energy, and they do the things that they need to do when people aren't looking. I mean, it's like the things your hopefully parents taught you, but a lot of people's parents didn't teach them. Do the things right, even when people aren't looking. When something's wrong, God, and a lot of people say, why do I need a coach? Like, I'm doing just fine. Like, I go to my job and things are good and I'm going to get a promotion. I got a 50% promotion like last month. I know I'm doing okay. It's like, okay, dude, you're doing okay. Is that okay with you? To me, it's not.
Why is that not okay with you?
Because we are so limited on the amount of time that we have here. I mean, I don't know. You know my story a little bit. I've been through the shit. I've got the chills right now because it's hard to talk about because I've come so far since then. But going through some of those hard things that I've gone through, and honest to God, using these things that I'm now teaching people how to do what I did when I was going through that shit, and continue to do to lead me to sitting here with you right now, living the best life that I can live. And I don't got to worry in the world besides, well, I don't really have a work. Well, got to pick up my son, but I don't got to worry in the world. That's it. It's on my calendar. Life's good, man. You know what I mean? And you have to choose that, and you have to be intentional about going and getting that. But if you do it, no matter what happens in your life, good or bad, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to dig your way out of it. And if you're in the right mindset when the shit happens, you're never going to fall in there. You're going to see that hole and you're going to be like, oh, shit, I would have fallen in that gross before. Damn it. Good. I love this. This coaching is good. You know what I mean? It's just about, it's like, think of it if you had a bunch of high school kids or let's say 21-year-old kids, right? Out of high school, because I'm not coaching a bunch of high school kids, but I would. But the thing is, I think that these people think once they're done with school, a lot of people think that's when the learning stops. I'm done learning. I don't have to learn anymore. That's when the fun learning begins, right? I think, because you can learn about whatever you want. Your why, hopefully, because that's a lot of times what people want to learn about, because that's what interests them, that's what draws them. So if you're like working at Smith's and you're always reading like Field and Game, I sure as hell probably would be at least applying to Sportsman's or something, right? Because evidently you like that more than you're not reading like Daily Milk or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do what makes you happy, what fills you up, because I've seen so many people that go from work, a place that they are not genuinely happy, authentically fulfilled, but putting on a mask that they are, because nobody at work is going to last very long if they're pissed off and shitty attitude with the way that, and at work with the their employees and their managers and everything else because they hate their job. So they're going to put on a mask. They're going to show up. They're going to spend all their energy in that cup that we refer to is going to start wherever it starts, probably halfway or less because of the way they're living their life. They're going to work this 8-hour shift, have a really either great time, not great time, probably not the best time. So by the time they get done with work at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, whatever it is, they don't have anything left in their cup. Then they're going home to their family, their husbands, their kids, their wives, and they don't have shit for them. And it's not fair to the families.
What do you mean by have shit?
They don't have the bandwidth, if you will. It's awfully hard for them.
Depleted energy.
Yeah, I mean, they show up at home and it's like, man, I just have to. I've got to recoup from the day. Like I have nothing left. Mm-hmm. Like when I go to work, when I'm, it's like, is this really work? Like, can I work more? Like this shit fills me up. It makes me go. It gets me going. That's what your why does for you, right? That's when you know you're living and doing what you're supposed to and meant to do in life, I feel like, is when you're like, gosh, when can I get some more of that? Because it's out there. You have to look for it, though. It doesn't a lot of times just magically appear, unfortunately. But people just don't want to. I feel like we've become so lazy as a just population. I don't know if it's a global population because I haven't traveled outside the U.S. in a long time, but I know for goddamn sure, excuse my language on that, but it is a problem in the United States that we're lazy, period. I feel like living life and okay with, content with, happy with, not making changes with, living life on about a C or B minus median. To me, that's not okay. So for those few people that want to rise above that and do just, I mean, honestly, it's not very hard to outperform somebody that's getting a C. You know what I mean? Like I can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it if they want to do it. And that next level, that flow state, if you will, that state that you can get into when you're doing what you love and you absolutely wouldn't do a thing different in your life besides maybe have something different the night before because you had indigestion the next day. You've got to do what you love to do, but you have to search that and you've got to have somebody, I feel like, until I had my coach, I sure as shit didn't know how to get there. I was trying, I was looking, I looked forever. I mean, I thought I had a lot of jobs that I loved, and I did. But it wasn't my why. You know what I mean? Like I did little bits and pieces of my why. Mm-hmm. And that's why my cup kept, filling up enough. But when you can get your cup full, there's that next level of life. There's that next level of living. And I don't know how else to say it. For me, I call it like a flow state. When you get into these, or a zone, right? Athletic people maybe have referred to it. Maybe, I don't know, in the military, do you have anything like that where it's like you get in this like, everything's fucking right and good. And I'm doing it. You ever get that?
I think, like hyper-focus moments where like with athletes and that, like,
yeah, like just the flow state. Yeah, that zone.
I totally get it in editing. I can get it in when I video edit. I can get into the zone where I'm like, I just want to edit till 4 a.m. and I don't want to stop. I just keep going. But so it sounds like you came from a point in your life where you weren't intentional, and things were feeling very low for you.
Very low.
And you think it boils down to because you weren't being intentional with your time,
100%,
and actions
with my time, my actions, with my life in general. Yeah, 100%, 1,000,000,000%. I guarantee it.
And then one day you decided to, start making steps, and you've had, like you said, jobs that you've loved along the way, but they weren't your why.
100%.
So what is your why?
My why is finding a better way and sharing it.
Why is that your why?
I don't know.
Do you think it's because
helping people, but it's a really niche, I guess, form of helping people. But I think that's why I love the coaching realm so much, is because I spend my day, if I'm not talking to clients or, doing stuff for my business on the back end, I'm listening. And even when I'm doing that, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm reading books consistently because I want to know what people are putting out there. Because the more information I have, the better I can do with my clients. And the more successful I can be, number one, that's the most important. And I think my why in life is, I've boiled it down to definitely my son. PJ is my everything right now. I mean, like, he is my everything, my family. But if I had to sit, PJ is it. Like, if I had to choose one person in this entire world to live, it wouldn't be Erica. It wouldn't be my mom. It wouldn't be me. It would be him, right? So he's my why. And I see him growing, and he's 3 going to, I mean, he's just, it's an amazing, amazing deal. And I see, like, with me being intentional, raising him, the difference it's making. I mean, it's so funny because we try different things at home, being very much intentional as far as habits go with him. And to see him when it comes to nap time, when it comes to bedtime at night, when it comes to eating dinner time at night, because we have such a schedule, like, and that's what kids thrive on at that age, I feel like. That's what the research says. I don't research that stuff, but I did read it. And I am kind of involved with the early childhood development because of 12-hour shifts and trying to bring employee help into the workplace. But that being said, it's so needed just to have the habits and the intentionality. He's like a little robot, dude, and he does it. He loves it. It's like a game for him, right? And that's what it becomes for me too. It's like I've got these habits and I do them and they work and I feel good. You know what I mean? And it's not hard. It's just fulfilling, and it's nothing that's crazy, just rocket science stuff. It's about setting some goals and achieving those goals and having somebody hold you accountable for the goals. But it's really about the way that we do our planner. I feel like that really helps me because we don't overwhelm with these task lists, right? Everybody's got task lists, right? I had tasks when I was working at the chamber. I had task lists that were like 5 different pages long because there was so much stuff coming in. Nobody's going to get to that stuff. And where do you start? How do you prioritize? You have to prioritize because there's stuff that's more important than other things, right? So what we really focus on is picking every day your certain amount of goals, important priority goals that you're going to get done before a certain time in the day. I mean, it's just a way of organizing your life that we have come up with. And it's really cool because we can cater these to each individual that we see or each company that we see. And a lot of times when we're working with companies, some of them we're sitting down with the whole group. Like, I'm DISC certified. I don't know if you know what the DISC certification is or the DISC assessment. It's a personality test. And it's really good for businesses. It's good for individuals too, because you really find out. In fact, it's spot on 99 point some % of the time, the readings that it comes out with. Because I don't know, it's got a heck of a lot of questions. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you for free. I want you to take it because if you've never taken it, you haven't. If you don't know what it is,
I'm
right?
not sure what it is.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you because
It's not like the person that types like architect and stuff like that.
No,
you know what I'm talking about?
No, yeah.
What is
You're
that?
talking like Myers-Briggs.
Oh, Myers-Briggs, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the IDEM either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like
What's your Myers-Briggs?
Oh gosh. Everything that I am, I'm either like influencer, where I like talking a lot.
You're probably the protagonist.
I think very much so, but I don't remember, to be honest with you, 100% what my actual reading on the Myers-Briggs was. I know on the disc it is I, which is the DISK or DISC, excuse me, stand for a different, like D is dominant, right? I is influencer. So they have the different, and I encourage you to either get on my website, alwaysdevelopingleader.com, and take a look at the disc. I've got a ton of information on there, but it is so spot on. It's scary. That shit's scary to me anyways, because I'm like, holy crap, like I don't even want people to know this stuff about me, you know, like the way that I feel inside, the way that it really gets, it's crazy how spot on it can be. And it gives you at the end, depending on which one you do, but a lot of them that we just do the full test, and it's cool because it gives you a like 16-page printout at the end of it. And then we take a half day, and I like to just sit down with these teams, right? First off the get-go, when they've never sat down with their different, you know, team members like this. They know them, they see each other, they say hi, they do their thing. They maybe have a beer together, whatever the case is, go to church, same ward, whatever they do. But they don't know that person. They don't know this person's dominant. Like this person likes attention, and when doesn't get attention, seeks, but you know, like it's spot on shit. And if you can really get deep into that and know the people you're working with, it makes living and working with them so much easier because you can understand them. Everybody's perception is different. Everybody's perceptual lens is different, and you have to understand that. And it's about just bringing consciousness to different things like that, right? Like everybody has different perceptual lens. So the way that I see something is not going to be the way that you see it ever. Exactly. Right. We might
more
see
information. Makes it easier to move forward.
100%.
I'm reading David Duche's The Beginning of Infinity. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I have. I've read it.
Oh, yeah? Oh, so I'm in the optimism chapter.
Okay.
And he just said, I was listening to it this morning at the gym, and it was just saying optimism is believing that all bad things are stemmed from a lack of information.
100%. The truth. What are the facts?
And so with more information, there's and it kind of touched on like most prophetic and like prophesizing literature and things like that. People like to assume, because even like back in the 50s in the Cold War to, you know, 2K is going to happen, we're all going to die, 2012. Prophesizing actions usually lean towards a negative outcome because people lack the information to understand what is going to happen, you know, with that going on. If it was like such a, let's say like if you, I don't know, lit a candle and knocked it over, at least you know what the chances of things are going to happen.
And you can watch it kind of percolate. Right?
And you know what the options are. The house catches on fire, house doesn't catch on fire. But with looking into the future, there are revolutionary advances in technology and information about science and all these things, social sciences, to, you know, the theoretical physicists and stuff like that, to, you know, quantum computers, AI, everything that people just don't see coming, internet,
Yes.
FaceTime.
All of this stuff.
No one sees that thing coming. No one knew. I mean, people from the 1800s could not have predicted nuclear bombs 100 years later.
No.
And we can predict it. Just so the lack of information is kind of what makes people lean towards the negative doom and gloom predictions.
It makes sense.
That's the optimism chapter. So
Gotcha. Yeah. And does it make sense to you?
yeah, to an extent. I still have to think about it for a while because I feel like there's got to be to the good, and when it comes to the good and bad of this world, I've leaned a lot towards like, I feel like there's like some spiritual balance to it all, of like evil and good, light and dark, the dichotomy of everything in this universe.
Okay.
So I think also reading the Tao Te Ching, learning about the way, the Tao, and the Tao was the one, which is, I like to imagine as the universe, and the one gave birth to the two, the yin and the yang, which is the contrast of everything, darkness and light, living and dead. Everything exists because it has an opposite. So then I start thinking about things might be a little more complicated than I understand now.
And I think I don't know. What do you feel about this? But I know the more I start looking into these things and these rabbit holes, man, I can get they go on forever. And it's crazy because there's got to be a truth.
Oh yeah, but there's no truth that we're going to understand or be able to prove anyways.
I mean, and when it happens, then it's done.
Yeah, there's no objective ability. There's no ability to officially have the objective truth in our lifetime. So there's a point where searching the rabbit hole of existence and purpose, I feel like becomes almost like a maddening event where
It does.
you like, there has to be a point where you realize you're never going to truly know.
100%.
And you have to decide what you're going to put your faith into. What do you think has the most weight and put your faith into that?
100%. And go and do it well, right? Because you have to, if you're always, I feel like that's almost like you're saying, almost like you're stretching yourself so thin, worrying about these things you can't even change or you're never going to know, when you could be like worrying about, I don't know, like how you're cooking your kid's hamburger or like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think people need some sort of structure to hold on to,
Okay.
some sort of thing that can help them take that weight off. So then they can just, like for me, for instance, religion does this for most people. I feel like, you know what
yes.
I mean? And it gets you to have this moral structure that you follow and you don't have to worry.
Right.
Don't
I trust
question
in God,
anything.
that's what I do. Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, and specifically with the holy texts, whichever of sorts, kind of go through a guideline of more of how to go about living as a righteous person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big. Yeah.
For me, I think I like to, the guideline I've kind of set for myself for now.
Yeah. What is it?
Let's see if I change it once the apocalypse happens. I'm like, I'm just hungry. I want to eat.
I'm not gonna live by those morals, those things. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this level of complete, what's the word I'm looking for? Intolerance paradox of, intolerant people will always destroy completely tolerant people because
Yes.
they won't stand for them. Tolerant people will let anything happen. And I was reading the Dhammapada, the Buddha's book, and it kind of goes really deep into the complete neutrality almost of, I really like this way they put it of, in order to really be happy in life is like trying to be happy by controlling the things in your life is like trying to hold a tiger by the tail and not get scratched and bit. The only way that you can truly be free is to let go. And like kind of just be like, detach yourself from all the things. Because another example is like, let's say you're in traffic, someone cuts you off and you're like, oh, I'm pissed at this guy. And then all of a sudden he gets T-boned by a person that you would have been in that spot, got T-boned. And you're like, oh, thank God that guy cut in front of me.
Yeah.
So that's how quick things can change on what it was a blessing and what was a curse. And it's like that proverb, like, oh, the Chinese proverb of war where the old man's son broke his leg and they go, oh, what a shame. And he goes, we'll see. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And the soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah,
they
and then
went
the
to
war happens, and they're like, "Oh, your son's broken leg, so he doesn't have to go. What a blessing!" And he goes, "We'll see," and it just constantly keeps going. We'll see, because the things keep shifting.
Tell this story. People need to hear this. This is that you told the first time we met, Jason. I want to take these viewers or
listeners
back to a little time when Jason and I first met. I was freshly back into Twin Falls from Idaho Falls area, East Idaho. And this videographer, I was working at Embrace Life Recovery Center, brand new recovery treatment, drug and alcohol treatment center that, I mean, it's just it meant so much to me and meeting Jason. And then like, oh man, he was such a godsend. He really was just an amazing, he did my wedding. Like I mentioned, he's just a freaking awesome person.
Wow.
Amazing person. Godsend. I mean, seriously, I don't know, like these people can't just hop and watch my video from my wedding, but holy crap, Ola.
We had good vibes. We kicked off good.
It was amazing.
We got into deep conversations pretty quick.
So quick. It was like, okay, let's sit down on this couch on the second floor of this brand.
He's like, hi, I'm JJ. Hi, I'm Jason. I'm like, bro, what's the purpose to life? He's like, I thought you'd never ask.
I thought you'd never ask. I've been waiting for you to ask for like the last 10 seconds because I've met you 15 seconds ago. Yeah, seriously. And it was deep. And it's like, I don't know, I just have always felt a cool connection with you. And I just appreciate your friendship and what you've done. And dude, you're just cool. You're a cool person. Appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
But the whole point that I started on that ramble was my guideline. And the one thing that kind of is like my backbone that I lean on when I think about harsh futures coming or bad things, when you think about suffering, especially
non-negotiables.
Really what it boils down to me, it's what my psyche gets afraid of sometimes is the reality that we could starve to death, that my family could starve to death if, the power grid gets locked, if, World War III breaks out, if a natural event like Yellowstone blows, like there's some asteroid impact. There's so many things that could happen that could really turn our lives into something we never would expect to be possible. I just think of China and Mao, 10 million plus people starving to death. I think it might be more than that, like 20 million plus.
That's crazy.
Starving to death. Or during times of famine and stuff, and just with the leaders, being shitty leaders. And I think we get very comfortable thinking that'll never happen to us. We'll never, starving to death is like a thing of the history books. It's not something that happens to us until one day the grocery store doesn't work. There's nothing being imported. Your card is declined. No one can access their funds. And that stuff will like sit in my head and I'll be like, shit, I'm not worried about me starving. I'd like to think, fuck it, give me the suffering. I just worry about, like imagine PJ. You know what I mean? The people you love, that's where it gets worrisome. Where you go, how am I going to deal with that?
Yeah, those dependents of yours, right?
The people you love.
Yes.
And you don't want to see the people you love, anything bad happen to them. So the thing that has been my backbone moving forward is kind of thinking that this is just our lives are like beautiful stories, like a movie, a cinema piece. And do I want my life to be a flat, boring, nothing bad happened adventure? And when the bad things come, I'm going to look at it as an opportunity for adventure, for me to fight for the good. Whatever needs to be done so the good can rise. I'm on that bandwagon. We're fighting the dragon.
God, that gives me chills. Oh.
So that's why it lets me put all the doom and gloom away and go, when it comes, I'm gonna be there to fight.
Yep. Yes. And I'll tell you, I think I know I lived so long without having really anything to live for. Does that make sense? Like I just coasted through for a lot of years, like not even really coherent, like just trying to not even live life, like literally wanting to escape life and hoping hopefully I wouldn't wake up one day, right? Like that shit's hard. And then you just, all of a sudden it's like life can be so good and it's just a few little tweaks here and there, and maybe one of those things is setting a non-negotiable for yourself, for your family, for you as a person. Okay, what is my backbone? This is where my line is drawn, right? And I think that's where a lot of individuals, families, businesses are so confused, if you will, or uneducated, if you will, because they never draw a line. It's always like, okay, well, in the manual says this, I think. Well, I'm not sure. Well, Joe said this and Bob said this. Blah. Okay, well, where's that line? And are we talking about the line? Are we talking about our core values and our core principles and what we stand for as a business? When we're onboarding these people before they even get a check, because if they don't align with that stuff, they're probably not going to last very long. So are you doing, as an employer, your due diligence to maybe take an extra week per applicant to get the right applicant or better applicants? Or are you just being complacent? I'm not even going to say, well, I will say lazy because it's lazy, but I think complacent because people don't look at it as lazy because it's been done for so long and it's acceptable. It's acceptable.
There's a fine line though, because with hustle culture these days, I feel like I know a lot of young people who kind of will throw certain things that maybe as you're older, you will realize where your priorities lie. When you're young and everything's about, I got to get rich, I got to be famous or meet famous people, then everything you just want to hustle so you can get that image. But I feel, at least for myself, as I've gotten older and as I've read works of people who are older reflecting back in their life, it seems that your scope of priorities focuses back onto love and the people that you love in your life and spending time with those people. And it seems like there's a balance, especially in the hustle culture, because you are young. It's time to hustle. But what if you burn some relationships from putting too much energy into the hustle, the activity versus the people?
Yes. Or what if you put in too many hours because it's something you love until you put in too many hours and then you don't love it one day, right? And you burn yourself out. And then you don't want to work. And then, I mean, it's a bad situation.
And everything worth getting, like you're gonna have to do. There's the thing. That's what discipline is when you do things that you don't even want to do it, but you're gonna do it. Like if you're gonna be a world champion, guarantee there are days you did not want to go into the gym. Guarantee there's days where you're afraid, you don't want to step in the ring. But it's being able to get yourself to do it, despite whether how you feel or you don't feel. You're going to do it because you said you're going to do it.
Yes, 150% discipline. Being intentional about your discipline and your habits and the thing, just the way that you orchestrate your life. You have to draw it out. You have to think about it. You have to sit down and say, and usually with somebody, but do it on your own all the time. Am I getting okay? Do I have an objective, right? Do I have a plan to reach or achieve this objective? And if yes, great. Am I taking the steps necessary to get there? And if no, why the hell not? And let's get busy doing that, because you have to have these things, or your life's just kind of like I don't even know the best way to put it. Like you're just riding on a cloud, like you're just. I just think of it like almost like spiritually. It's like you're not going after anything, right? You've got people in life that are, let's say this is your median line, and you've got people that are, this is where everybody starts. And then you have these people that are like, yes, really cool, and then sometimes they're like, that was me for a long time. And I'm like,
if you, just for people watching, he's doing cool little airplane things with his hands where it's going up and down and it crashes.
Oh, thank you. They can't see it. I'm like,
for people listening, what does that sound like?
The turkey. I'm going down. Oh my
Great onomatopoeias.
dude. I love it. So I don't know if you like a coach, get a coach. Get a playbook.
Someone who can hold you accountable and put you in the right direction.
Right. Point you in the right direction, and then hold you accountable to get there, and has ways that they have seen and experienced too and worked with. I mean, I'm working and seeing some of the biggest coaches in the world right now. And it's amazing to me how they're telling these people that are making billions, 7 figures, 8 figures a year, right? Like, no bullshit. They're sitting there and it's like, they've got thousands just rolling in because of what it's crazy the amount of money they have, but they're having the same issues as you and I. Don't stay here.
It's just a different number they start talking about.
100%.
$100,000 is like $1,000, and they just talk about it like it's not a lot.
Right, but it's the same thing. They're still humans. They're still you and I, and they still have to. The thing is, once they get there, they get that itch, and it's cool because your cup starts. Then it's like, man, I love living over half full. Or I love, right now, I'm like, I love spilling over all the time. I'm just messy because my cup's always full. And I make sure it stays that way because it sucks when it's not. But if you're intentional about the way you live your life, it can.
Do you feel like this is advice that works only during a time of blossoming capitalism, free market?
No, I think you could do it any single time you wanted to in your life if you make the commitment and are disciplined to do it.
Because I think of, there's a lot of places in the world right now that they're just surviving. They're going through warfare right now. Mm-hmm. And what are the things that they have to tell themselves to get through? The other night I was laying outside on the grass and I was looking at the stars with Bosco. And I just decided to just do a little prayer, say all my gratitudes. I'll say, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for having food in my belly. I'm thankful I'm still breathing warm air and got health. I can run and all this stuff. And I was thinking, what if I'm a little boy, who just got the water kinked off to the city? My family just got blown up by an airstrike and I'm getting pushed with another, a couple million refugees from my city into a tiny place where none of us are probably going to get much food. And I'm sitting there staring at the stars, lost everybody, lost water, not sure how I'm going to survive. What am I going to say? And that night specifically, I promised myself, no matter what, I'm going to look up, I'm going to find something to say I'm thankful for. But
that's powerful.
For someone going through something like that, how do you live with purpose when you are seemingly losing control of everything?
You can only, I feel like, Jason, control The only person that anybody can control is themselves. Sometimes there's shit that isn't fun that happens. Sometimes there's fortunate circumstances that happen. I mean, we just all went through this remember this last couple of years that we just had? That shit sucked, right? Like, but
Wearing masks?
well, I mean, the whole COVID thing, right? Like, just the whole COVID thing in general. I'm talking like maybe more so in business, where the businesses were
forced to shut down.
Yeah, like, that's what
Aside from
I'm
that,
thinking about.
I just kind of got like a little flu once.
Like, I couldn't taste for like 14 days. Yeah.
Life was hard.
Yeah. It was horrible, man. I'll tell you. But what are you grateful for? Like, are you grateful for the material things? Because I know if I'm sitting there and I'm doing gratefuls, there's always going to be shit you can focus on. There's always going to be good stuff that you can be grateful for in every single situation in life. Every single one. And sometimes the hardest situations you go through are the times when you grow the most. So sometimes it's just that blessing in disguise, but you've got to always, I don't know, I feel like always have, and I know for me personally, I always am living for that greater purpose, right? Like, I trust that if I'm doing the right things and living a right life, and if you are, and if you aren't, everybody knows. If you can honestly say you're living a just life, man, and you're going to be okay, right? And I trust that. I really trust that. No matter what it is, if it's Buddha, if it's Christ, if it's whatever it is, that higher power, because I believe there's a higher power. I believe in God. Some people don't, and that's fine. But I feel like you have to believe in something, have something greater to hold on to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like the way I heard Jordan Peterson put it once, is that everyone believes in God. It's just that everyone's God is different. And the one thing that's the number one priority in your life is your God.
Yes.
So whether that's money, whether that's getting bitches,
Hose, boats, and hoes.
Yeah. Just be careful. Try not to make your God be one of the 7 deadly sins, because that shit can take you down a rabbit hole. Greed. And that's where the fine line of success with entrepreneurship, I always wonder, at what point are you being passionate for success, and at what point are you chasing greed?
I think that's probably, what a great question. And I could probably answer that differently every single day for my life. But I'll tell you what, I think, God, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that, because I like nice things. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't need the jacket. I didn't need that jacket in my car. I don't need a lot of the clothes I have, but I like them. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is that greedy? I'm not sure. I try to be a good steward. I volunteer. I give back. I'm very intentional about that. But I don't know. You can argue that fact, I think, no matter what. Like, think of husband and wife. Think of couples.
Okay.
You've got couples, and it's like, okay, I grew up this way. And this is how we do things. Okay? Done it like this for 36 years. Okay? Right?
Okay.
Other spouse. In their head, and I didn't say this out loud, I'm thinking in my head, right? I'm like, this is what we're doing. I'm going to get that Christmas tree, and I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to put this star on top of it. I'm going to put these ornaments on it, and I'm going to do this. I get the boxes. I'm like starting to get everything prepped. I'm like grabbing everything. Let's go to put the tree up. I'm like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? Why are you putting that shitty tree up? Like, I don't know, because this is our Christmas tree. I've used it for 36 years, and we're using these ornaments. Like, bullshit, we're not doing any of that. I have this tree.
Okay.
2 different perspectives. Like, you've got to give a little to get it, Like, you can't, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You you've got to give a little to get it. Does that make sense?
And I think, all right, so you're trying to connect that with our question about where the line for where greed comes in.
100%.
And
yes.
so you are saying by giving as in your volunteer time and giving back to the community allows you to get things to enjoy yourself.
100%.
It kind of balances out that guilt.
as long as I have got, I mean, like I've got my obligations.
It's like
right?
Bezos, donating $2 million to charity. He's like, well,
I can do this then. I mean, and everybody's moral compasses and
Yeah.
their probably guidelines are a little different. Some people are like, I will never use credit. People are like, I'm good as long as my credit minimum balance is paid. I'm paid up in full, bro. Like I'm good with this. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's the way you look at things, and everybody looks at things a little bit different. And that's why I think people have to be very understanding. I think that's one of our biggest flaws is, well, I don't know. We're not understanding enough as a society, right? Like, I don't know how you feel. I don't know. Like, I will never know exactly how you feel. I know you're sad. I know you're happy. I know you're frustrated. I don't know what that feels like inside of you physically. I don't know what that sounds like inside your head. I have no idea. And I will never know that. Or I might know that someday with the way technology is. I might be able to just hook up a little thing and be like, ooh, man, you're mine. I don't know. But right now I sure as hell can't. There's nothing I can do that will ever be able that right now that I'll be able to do that. So
I like how you're leaving a space for technology to evolve. What do you see the future of technology turning into?
yeah,
What's your hunch?
it's gonna be it kind of makes me nervous, to be honest with you, because I see right now, and more so than ever, and I think every day we see it more and more, there's new apps, there's new integrations, there's new things that you can buy and subscriptions and plans and platforms and things that are evolving because there's so many smart people out there just spending night and day making these. Because I heard a stat, Jason, the other day. Americans on average spend 4 hours watching video on their phone a day. I do. I don't know. I don't know about 4 hours of watching video, but I'm on my phone probably
Screen
4
time.
hours. Yeah, screen time for sure on my phone. Whether it's work or recording videos now a lot since I'm doing the entrepreneurial thing, but it's crazy. I don't know. Everybody views are different.
It seems that all the products and technology that's coming out are to fix or enhance two things.
Okay,
To
what is that?
Structure your time or make your time an enjoyable experience.
Amen.
So everything is like to help you organize your time a little better, save you some time, or
Productivity.
or to make it so that while you're passing time, it's an enjoyable time. And so I think of that as an entertainment documentary. What I do, try to make people have an enjoyable time while they're sitting there watching it.
Yes.
And then when it comes to products, it seems like it's either something that's to enhance and give people more time because they don't have to spend as much time. Time.
Yeah,
Literally,
time.
long story short, everything's about time.
Well, you only have.
That's the one thing you can't buy more of.
No,
So then they
yes.
have to try to substructure it into this ability to get you more maximized time.
100%. 100%. And your pinnacle, I guess, of life can be different depending on the amount of time and what you want to maximize, right? And what optimizations you want to make. There's people that are more ambitious than others, and that's fine. I mean, like, you've got to live your why. Some people are, honestly, their why is to probably sit on the couch and watch TV. I don't know. Like, that's not me for sure. And I'll never probably hang out with those people much because that's not how I like to live my life. But there are people like that. I don't know if they're depressed or what, but, there's people like that. There's people that are, they've got to live their why. Because if I'm living your why, I'm not ever going to be fully satisfied. But if I'm a go-getter, my why as JJ is going to be different than if I'm not a go-getter as JJ.
I think I have a hunch theory that
What is it? I'm so curious.
that everybody's why. I don't know necessarily believe that there's a specific why for every human.
Okay.
Because people used to always tell me, you're so lucky you have your why. You know that you always knew you wanted video. But as I said, I used to want to be a music producer in high school. I loved making music. I do music stuff. Okay. And then I wanted to be, in the CIA. And then I wanted to, there's just always been, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to straight to business school because I just didn't know what I was going to do.
Right.
And then I decided, well, I'm creative. So let me find a way to, be creative. And at first I liked photos, did photos for a while, but I didn't think that it was going to be that profitable or realistic in my eyes back then, because it was had such a potential for becoming oversaturated.
Yeah.
Because everyone can take photos, and so I needed to add some more friction and wanted to make videos because those are harder to make good, and I just started doing that. And then one day I just decided I want to make films. I want to be a filmmaker because it gives me some prestige and some like honor of like creating things like an artist.
Yes.
And so it was a long journey to find what I wanted to do. And it wasn't like, this is what I was born to do. This is my why. And so, but I like to think, my theory is that the ultimate why comes down to providing value to society in some sort. Even back to like hunter-gatherer days, if you were just sat around doing nothing for the tribe, like no one would like you and you probably wouldn't even like yourself. You'd feel worthless. But if everybody comes together, and everyone has a role to play and we're all benefiting the good of our tribe, whether it's, through your business, you're providing some sort of the way to enhance people's time, make people, enjoy things, something like if you can provide some sort of value to the society, then that sits well with you. That's something that you enjoyed. You can do it. You can enjoy your time while doing that act. Then that's something that you can attach your life to and do because it'll keep you feeling good.
Yes.
But I don't know if necessarily it's a hard stamped, God made me for this,
I think you're right on the dot. And I think maybe I have just ingrained in my mind through my perceptual lens. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a perfect example of me in my perceptual lens thinking, everybody knows that their why doesn't have to be stamped, right? They don't. So thank you. Because not everybody does know that. So when we're talking about our why, it doesn't have to be, I'm going to help, children that are between the ages of 5 and 7 male in the east 3/4 of Africa. That's bull. People, when I was first starting my niche, are you've got to get so specific. I'm like, I'll help everybody. That's what I want to help everybody. Like, what the hell? I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to help only males that are 15 to 32 that are 20, white and black. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to disclude people that want to better themselves because I'm going to niche out and make niche videos. I have done just fine helping people reach their pinnacle. If you want to get there, I've got a formula. I've got ways that I can help you. If you don't like it, then you don't have to stick with me. There's no contract holding you, binding you in with me. But if you do what I tell you, I promise it'll make, like you said, what did you just say?
What the fuck?
What did you just say about it? It just hit this nail right on the head when you were talking about people being disciplined. The discipline factor is people don't have discipline. Not very many people are disciplined. I don't think, right? A little bit of discipline.
I'm sure
goes
me
a long
and you
way.
are. It's such a spectrum because I'm sure there's some people out there that make it look like we don't have any discipline. Because there's people like David Goggins out there who are just like monsters.
I know,
they're just straight robot mode where they it doesn't matter. I'm doing it no matter. I'm not eating a cookie. I'm running 7 miles right after this. Doesn't matter if that's 1 a.m. They're just crazy motherfuckers.
I'm waking up at 1 a.m. and doing 5 billion crunches and then going back to sleep for 35 minutes and then waking up. Yeah.
Discipline. So I like Jocko Willink. You know who that is? Navy SEAL leader.
Yes.
I have a couple of his books around here, and I love his motto of discipline equals freedom. And I see it so much with my dog because he's so well behaved. He gets to be off leash when we go places because I know he'll come right to me. He has great recall, so he gets more freedom. But there's also a boundary where, for me on the spectrum, where if it's always militant, disciplined lifestyle where he doesn't get to do things, he always has to be on point, sitting, doing proper, militant like lifestyle of a dog or even in a person's lifestyle.
Yes.
At what point do you lose a little bit of that spark of fun, that spark of humanity? Bosco, there's a little chaos to him still. Yeah. He's still got that puppiness where he just runs around happy, playing around. And it's not just this complete strict service dog vibe.
Right.
And I like it though, because it makes it seem fun.
Yes.
And I feel like that also in my own life. I like to think, even with my own, like the way I live, I look up to Dave Goggins a lot, and people like Jocko, obviously
Me too,
very, very
yes.
hard people that
Yes.
are militant. They're
But
like those service dogs.
Yes, very, very much. They're look upable because they do things above and beyond. They're extraordinary, right? And that's what we all want to be, I think, down deep. I hope. But you look up to them. I do too.
For me, it turns into a point of I like to think this life is something of being able to just have a time to experience. I went into this really deep rabbit hole in my thoughts the other night about what do you think a day to day, what's the average day like in heaven? What do you think?
Gosh, man, I don't know. I've thought about this recently. It's so weird you ask me this because that's not just a normal question you get asked. But I think I really feel like there's not, it's timeless. Like it's eternal, right?
That's how I also interpret the afterlife.
Yeah.
It's like a higher dimensional thing that we can't even understand. It's not like
no
clouds
clue.
in the sky. You go to heaven and you're hanging out with, chilling with your peeps.
It's like there's golden gates that are going to open up and there's going to be,
But is it good? Here's the real question. Is it good all the time, every day, every single day? No problems ever?
No, I don't think so.
Purely always enjoyable?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's going to be great beyond our wildest dreams compared to where we're at right now. But I still think you have to have the bad with the good, or the good isn't good.
Yeah, that's what I've been feeling like lately. I was thinking about Alan Watts as well.
Yes.
And how he talks about the dream. If you go into a dream where you were lucid dreaming and you could do anything and you were living there forever, you would dream doing every scenario. You're living in a palace. You're now riding tigers. You climb Mount Everest. Yeah. You do everything. Every single thing, and you'll eventually get to a point where the dream that you desire is that you weren't dreaming anymore, and that spontaneous stuff happened to you.
And that's deep. That's so deep when you say that and you think about that. Say that again. I've never thought that's deep. Say that again.
You always want me to say everything again.
Good. Can you say that again? Because that was really good.
Eventually, you'll get to a point where you wish that you were not dreaming, because the spontaneity of life, the bad parts that make it unpredictable, is what makes it exciting. And that's why I was wondering, what's the day-to-day life like in heaven? Is it I'm hanging out with my little brother and my little sister and my family, and every day we're having the perfect, Brady Bunch day where everyone's happy?
I hope not.
And it's like, are we quarreling? Is there bad vibe ever? Like, or is every day after 1,000 years of us doing the same thing, coming down for dinner every day, everything's good? Eventually, you might feel like bored.
Oh, you would. It wouldn't take 1,000 years. You should give me 3 days doing the same thing, go over and over and over. You've got to mix shit up. You got to mix it up a little bit. You could never do eternity the same. Brady Bunch, everything's great all the time, unless when you went to that next level, this state that you got swapped over to or whatever, is like way different than I'm in right now. Because I would need a big time shift in mindset to be okay with living the Brady Bunch lifestyle daily for eternity. Here we go, breakfast. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's gotta be difficulty without, if there's not difficulty, the triumph is not nearly as good. In fact, like you said, you wish you weren't dreaming. You wish you weren't winning. Winning all the time sucks. I mean, unless you're, you know what I mean? Like,
it's pretty awesome.
I actually would like Mayweather. I'm like, okay.
Floyd Mayweather. Don't you ever just wish you had one loss?
Actually, no. I never thought that in my life.
But I was tying that. You know what I mean, the reason I was going into that, going about, it's the hardships kind of that make this fun.
Yes.
I was tying that with the militant lifestyle of discipline.
Okay.
Because if you have the chaos, it makes like this fun factor, this spark, like with my dog, for instance. If he's purely militant discipline all the time, like a service dog, it would be almost it'd just be boring.
It would be.
It would be
boring.
Always good, always proper, always.
Yeah.
And that's how I was like, is kind of tying that into the daily life of heaven for thousands of years, where everything's good and proper always. And it's like, is this experience kind of our way of having fun? And I had this thought the other night as well.
Yeah.
Finding out the truth, to find the truth of God, of purpose of all, is to enslave yourself. Because if you know the truth, you can no longer live any other way. There's no spontaneity. Every action you do from that moment on is towards God. Like there's no other choice you can make. And so it's almost like self-enslavement. to chase the truth.
Yes, it is. It is. That's crazy you say that because, well, then let's look at religion for a sec. Because this brings up a very just interesting, I guess, kind of controversy, right? If that's the case, and like Christians or whatever, Catholics, I was raised Catholic. I do go to a non-denominational Christian church now. Just a year ago, I made this switch. It's interesting to me, I don't know, because you give your life to believing what that book says, right? Like, that's what you do. But if you're not really doing it, like, I don't know, that's hard. That's deep. I don't know.
For me personally, I love the New Testament. I've been going through it again this year, and I think it's a phenomenal book. Mm-hmm. The thing for me for attaching myself to a specific religion is I just am not too sure of what influences might be occurring within certain books. And I mean, I don't even trust the government now. I damn sure don't trust the government back then. And so then it leaves this like, block in my mind of, I don't know if I want to follow every single thing to a T in this book, because there's some radical ideas in all the books.
Every book, yes. Everybody's got radical
I
ideas.
listened to the Quran last year and I read it and I highlighted it all up this year. And and if you go, I got the Torah and I got the Old Testament. I went through at the beginning of this year.
Good for you.
And there are some radical ideas in both.
Yeah.
They're like Deuteronomy chapter 13, I believe, where it's like, if your brother comes and talks to you about another religion from another land,
you have to kill him.
Don't show any sympathy, but just strike him down right there where he stands, and everybody that knows his ass. I'm like, damn,
you burn him. Yeah.
Holy! Like, and so that's why I've kind of put my back guideline as a. I should clarify. I said to always fight for good. Mm-hmm. To clarify for what is good to me, it's kindness, compassion, and trying to mitigate the amount of human suffering in this world.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, I like to, because I mean, we can just look at a quick instance of, I guess Jews versus Arabs right now, versus Muslims right now in Palestine and Israel. Very sensitive situation. And I truly can understand what's going on both sides, how both sides have a point of view of their right to the land. Mm-hmm. And it's such a murky situation at this point. Yes. Things where I start getting, where I just don't like it is when they make choices to intentionally cause suffering amongst people that probably don't deserve it and don't need it. And if they could just make their choices towards whichever group is able to make their mission towards mitigating human suffering, I'm behind that.
Yes. So, no matter if it's war, whatever it is, because this is life. This is how things have to play out, right? This is the way things are playing out. But what are you doing with this atomic bomb? Where are you dropping it? Things like...
Well, it's like Hamas wants, their number one goal is to destroy Israel, to get rid of the Jewish state. And I don't want kids and children and women dying in Israel. Yes. But Israel also, maybe dropping white phosphorus bombs on innocent civilian buildings, because that's where Hamas is hiding with that,
Because maybe they'll get lucky.
Well, I mean, Middle Eastern warfare has been pretty popular for that, of like hiding behind, innocent people, bunkering up in hospitals so that they know if they get struck, now it makes their enemy look like bad guys. So then
they're sneaky, dude.
But it's like, it's their way of fighting. Yeah. That's how they fight. So one way of being able to have a chance.
Is it sneaky or is it smart? I mean,
that's fucked up. I don't like the idea. And me, as a warrior, having been in the Marine Corps, there's no way in hell I'm going to go hide behind a bunch of children to avoid gunfire.
Yes. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah,
that's
I find
horrible.
that disgusting.
Were you, what year? You were deployed, right?
I didn't see combat.
You didn't see combat.
Okay. But I've been in real world missions with recovering helicopters that have crashed and things like that.
Yeah. Because you've been to the Middle East or no?
Just to Kuwait for the air base there. Okay. So I didn't really do much though.
Gotcha. I was thinking, for some reason, that you said, maybe it was Kuwait. Yeah, I don't know. I find it so inspiring. Your story is so inspiring to me, because just the way you've lived your life, and after meeting you and seeing your work and then getting to know you better, and then seeing you just from that point forward take off like a wildfire, bro. That's just
Is that the perspective that you get?
I get it. I don't know. I'm
To me,
like,
it feels like I'm still just on a spark, and I'm like, blown. Time to catch on any minute now. Come on.
oh my gosh. Well, I just remember you saying something about the film festival. And you had, I mean, you kicked butt there. Like
my first boxing documentary with Kendra and Jason Samardzis, yeah, and they got a bunch of awards. I was a student at the time, so I got a bunch of best student documentary films awards, best student director.
Yes, I mean that was. I just remember because that was your goal. Like I talked to you, you didn't have time to do my wedding. You agreed to do my wedding because you're an amazing, selfless person. The wedding video turned out amazing. I met an amazing person, and now I'm sitting here with you after the wedding, 2+ years.
Has it been since then, since I've seen you?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Damn, time goes by quick, doesn't it?
It's been
like
over
I've
2
seen you
years since
before
I've seen-
then.
No.
And maybe I watched your podcast with Arnell.
I think, yeah, and we see. I've talked to you a little bit because you know, after you shot the video, it was not like you gave it to me the day of the wedding, you know. So we talked a little bit after that.
But
I
just
never
like,
did
there's no like
see you.
in-person chat
No,
like this.
not like sit down like this. No,
Yeah.
no. So this has been.
Yes.
I mean, this is awesome. We've got 10 o'clock, right? That's what. Go till 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, what time is it now?
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't even know. I wonder how long.
3:07.
No, wait, you got here
Yes.
at 1:30?
Yes.
Yeah, way to be punctual, dude.
Dude.
Calling you out-
1,300 hours.
Calling you out on air.
1,300 hours. It's like
1,300 hours.
the 1333 actually. So when you pulled up here,
Were you really at the DMV when you texted me you were at the DMV?
I never said I was at the DMV.
You're like, I'm passing the DMV.
DMB.
Oh, DMV. I think it autocorrected DMV.
Oh, it did?
Because the DMV's so close here. I was like,
I'm like DMB, and that's why I'm like, I really messed up coming in.
oh, you're on the wrong side of town. Yeah.
Yes, because I would have got on the freeway. I could have been here like probably in a third of the time. I was just in my little stupid mind, like I was already late and I knew it. And so I'm like, I get in the car and I'm trying to text you. And I'm just thinking in my head, for some reason, I was thinking you lived just like on the east side of Addison somewhere, like east of DMB even, and those like where Carriage Lane is and stuff. That was in my mind. Like I was thinking that I would, it's weird how your mind works.
Yeah.
My mind was working and it just took me onto Addison. And I was like literally.
How do they say? Assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
That's so true. So true. Today, found it out. Every time it happens. But I'm like halfway in Addison and I put the address, or I'm like, I push my little steering wheel. I'm like, tell your address. And it's like 31 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about? 31 minutes. And then it's like, go 5 miles. And I'm like 2 miles from DMB. And so I'm like, oh shit, it's on the other side. And then it's like, take a right. And I couldn't even see the end of it. I'm like, I knew it was all.
Yeah, this is a hard one.
down.
I think they got it on Google Maps now, but it was not for a while.
Because Google Maps brought me here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it's on there. But I'll tell you, you have to put it in before you start going. Helps
Nice.
a lot.
Rerouting. Dude, do you have any contacts still at Vandals Athletics or anything like that?
Yeah.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to, so my next big steps I'm working for is doing more documentaries with sports teams. I'm totally doing this as like a replacement for advertising. Let's do a docuseries. Let's get people to know you.
Yes.
Kind of stories. And I got a lot of good reasons why there's a lot of value to it. But yeah, I'm hoping maybe you
can
could
hook you up.
share some contacts with me, get me a foot in the door. That'd be awesome.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
Go
In fact,
get some football footage going. I want to get some more sports, man. I love sports. It's such a quick reflection of just like the hero journey, you know, the human journey, because there's like a climax built in, the game, the championship, working for it, having to hustle, and then you get to the point and whether you make it or break it, you know, fail or win.
Are you good enough this time? You know, like it's that test, and everybody needs those checkpoints, right? You need those checks in your life. That's what a coach will do. Like, honest to God, like, okay, we sit down weekly. And if you don't want a personal one-on-one coach, or it's something that's not in your budget, get in my community, the Always Developing Leader community. Dude, it's so easy. You create a login, it's free. And then there's weekly challenges that you can do. You can do different things in there. I always put a weekly video in there. You have the ability every Friday at, I believe it's 10 o'clock, I think it's 10 a.m. We get on just a live meet. It's like a Zoom, but inside the platform I use. And it brings you in the network with other like-minded individuals in this community that are in the same spot as you, or maybe a little further than you, or maybe a little bit behind you. So you can maybe help this person, and just people, like-minded people sharing. And then I'm in there and I bring a topic, and we try to focus on the topic. And it's an amazing resource. It's an amazing resource. And you can do it all from your home or wherever you access your internet.
Yes, getting together with like-minded people and people who can just even hear you out seems so beneficial. Like I find myself so often just saying ideas where I'm stuck, and I'll talk to my woman about it and be like, "See, this is problem," and I'll start explaining the problem. And they're like, "But then what if I did that?" And but you don't even have to say anything. Sometimes I'll just getting it out there, having someone to talk to. I'll figure it out by explaining it to people.
Yes.
And so that seems like a great resource for being able to have people who actually could probably provide input as well, rather than just sitting there, so they can listen and they can provide input if you need it.
Well, I know, like when I'm talking to somebody that doesn't really care about what I'm talking about, compared to somebody that's like in the same or similar situation as me, with a similar goal as me. Hopefully, like your spouse has somewhat the similars, but a lot of spouses are very different. You've got to have a tribe, if you will, a community of like-minded people, that, because you're going to have hard days. You're going to have days that you kick ass, and you want to share it with somebody that appreciates you kicking ass. Because sometimes it's really, 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 really hard not to eat that candy bar or whatever. Like there's things that you're going to do that seem very insignificant to people that don't understand.
That's the benefit of, just like a personal trainer. It's having someone else to be accountable for. Sometimes it makes it so it keeps a fire under your ass because you don't want to let them down.
No, 1,000%. That's what it's all about, right? We're personal trainer for your life. High performance coach for your life. You want to perform better? Get someone like me.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude,
hey,
I love it.
I couldn't find your damn podcast.
I can't find it either.
Is it on Spotify?
No, I don't know.
How are you posting this?
Through Kajabi.
Through Kajabi. So do you have to go to the Kajabi website?
So I'm going to have to get with the guy that's like managing my Kajabi platform on the backside, because I'm not sure. I thought I set it up to where
it'll go everywhere once you upload it to Kajabi.
That's what
Spotify does for me.
Yes, that's what it should do. That's what it should do. As soon as I upload it, then it should start distributing.
Put it on Apple, put it on Amazon, put it on Spotify.
All the places. Yeah. And that's what I had this other Blue Wave or something like that. It was a different platform when I had my Talking Twin Falls podcast. And I might have to I don't know. Kajabi is awesome because it's a coaching platform. Okay. So it's really set up well for people that want to, for these communities, and for the tribes and the meetups and the things that we do as far as coaching goes. But
yeah, well, you better get that fixed, because I want to listen, dude. And
I'm going to.
And so I listen through Spotify. So I'm looking on Spotify, type your name, and I don't see it. That's the
only thing I'm gonna start. I will make sure it gets on Spotify before it gets anywhere.
And share the link on Facebook so then we can just click straight to it.
Yes, I will.
That'd be awesome.
I will. Thank you so much, Jason. I love this, dude.
Thank you so much. We did it, dude.
Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Shawver. Peace out.